So we've got this sort of very basic harmonic series kind of thing. Let me just make this detached so I can actually wiggle it around. Cool. So the first thing I do is put the stereo to 0, completely make it mono. Sometimes when you put some images in, it can freak out a little bit. It can do some weird stereo stuff, which isn't always desirable. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And that's just a nice little safeguard. It's not necessary all the time, but sometimes it is. The next step is to basically smash it with, I mean, literally in this case, 5 OTTs and then heavy saturation, just to make sure that all the details have been brought out. You can hear how loud that is. It's pretty horrifying. Lots of high end, but all those details that are inside the sound get brought out with that heavy upwards compression, the layered upwards compression. Bit speaker is a really interesting touch. I think it adds a kind of formanty artifact to it. It's dependent on pitch. Obviously you can mix it in more or less and add noise. I mean, it already has quite a lot of noisy high end anyway. Some noise could be good though. It's all tweakable. Having a lower pitched sort of formanty kind of crackle I thought was pretty cool, because there's a lot of high and sort of very pure sounding sine wave information in the actual BeepMap itself. So I felt that was a cool extra little addition, some like kind of lower mid kind of crunch. Next is frequency shifter to just move the whole thing down. Take some of that high end information and shift it more into the mid range, where it's a bit more easy to listen to and a bit more maybe you're able to appreciate it more. So you can see it's already taking shape to something quite interesting. Next is a plugin called Fracture, which is basically like a kind of buffer fracturer. It's a buffer blender. It's got some delays, some filters. It's basically like a glitch plugin. It's by a company called Glitch Machines, so you know, it speaks for itself really. But this adds some cool kind of like delay glitches, some buffer freezes, some stuff like that. I think it might even just be on a preset, because I threw this rack together in a rush. I had a sort of idea and wanted to throw it together a couple of weeks ago. So obviously this is all tweakable to your taste, but let's just choose a random other preset. That was pretty cool. Got some cool, goes on for a while, but it's got some cool sort of little tonal delay stuff going on. I'll leave this bin scrambler for now, because this is not something that in fact you can turn off. It's not something that I use on every preset, because it can add a lot of chaos, which is not necessarily desirable. Sometimes it's a bit too smeary. Sometimes you want it to be a bit stronger and more crackly and in the sort of mid section. In the mid section, I mean more like in the mono, less so in the stereo. I'm really tired. I'm saying all the wrong things, but and I guess this is kind of the powerhouse behind the whole sound, is Portal. I don't really use it that much at the moment, but I did crack it out for this this rack. I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously this is probably, I mean, I can't remember, but it's probably just a preset. But again, this is all tweakable. It looks intimidating, but when you just break it down stage by stage, it's not super intimidating. The power is essentially lots of parallel automation and all sorts of crazy stuff happening, you know, at different intervals, different times. I could just randomize it, I guess. I mean, you can hear what it sounds like to begin with. So it's sounding a bit more futuristic. Pretty nice and futuristic.